Here today. Listen, I see people so often in business when I connect with them, when I talk with them, and they're so afraid. So many people are afraid of what's happening around us. The government, we're afraid of what's going to happen if our families don't like us. We're afraid of if we launch our products and it doesn't sell something, that it's not going to produce a result. We're afraid if we run Facebook ads and it doesn't sell and it's not going to produce a result. We're letting fear get stuck in our heads. And it's called terror porn. It's called fear porn. It's this thing that since COVID-19 has happened, I've seen courageous people shrink back and submit to fear in their life and allow fear to dictate their decisions and allow fear to dictate their choices and allow fear to decide for them how powerful they are. Allow fear to decide if they're going to build a business or not. We have to cut this out and disempower fear. And this is something that you actively have to do. When fear comes in, you got to put a stop sign up to it and say, no more. You got no permission here. You can't do this. And then start declaring goodness. Start declaring happiness. Start declaring what you want to happen. Oh, you're terrified that XYZ is going to happen when you go talk to your spouse and they're going to say something to you, and so you're not going to do it, and you're going to people please. By the way, people pleasing is terror and fear because we believe that if we please everybody, we can control them enough to keep us safe. We believe that if we make people do what they want, if we do what other people want us to do, that we can make them be a safe person to be around. And so we let our fear do that because of our need to control other people. You have to break free from this trap of prison, of terror and fear. This fear and worry of what other people think about you. This fear and worry of if you're going to produce a result or if it's going to be effective enough if you put something out there, or this allowing fear into your life to dictate all of your decisions. Allowing fear to decide, oh, can't go this far, can't go that far, can't do this thing, can't say that on social media, can't post this. Making your decisions for you. If you're a business owner, if you're somebody that's called to have an impact on the world as an entrepreneur, you got to break up with your fear. You got to break up with your insecurities. You have to break up with your worry about what other people think about you, about what's going to happen, about the future. Your worry of is the government doing this? Is the next vaccine doing this? Is Joe Biden doing this? Is the whatever's going to happen? Are we turning into this and that? This worry and fear, it's fear porn. That's what it is. Because it excites us. It excites us. It gets us angry. It gets us worried. It gets us nervous. And we operate in this high energy. I'm so worried all the time. I see so many people that are powerful people, so worried all the time and terrified about how things are going in the world. When they're called to be courageous, when they're called to step up, when they're called to not let what's going on around them control them. When they're called to build a business that's supposed to have an impact, that's supposed to fund maybe ending child sex trafficking, and they're called to maybe even go into the camps with the child sex traffickers to pull kids out. Yeah, I got friends that do that. You can't do that if you let fear and terror of a gun in your face control your decisions. And some of you are worried about your uncle saying, who do you think you are for launching your business? Some of you are worried about your spouse or your mom or your dad or your sister judging you. Some of you are worried about a person from church judging you for putting your business out there because you're allowing fear to be your ruler. You're allowing fear and terror to be your controller. You're allowing the worry and fear of what might happen if I XYZ control your life. You got to cut that out, my friends. We let the fear of, if I launch this product and it doesn't succeed, does that mean that I'm a failure? And then we let our performance decide our value and our worth. And so then we never put anything out there because it's got to be perfect. Because it's got to be perfect if we put it out there. And then we justify it as a spirit of excellence. I see this crap all the time. It's fear and worry and fear of other people's opinions justified as a good thing. And it's just as ugly as the nasty thing. It really is. You have to break up with your fear and worry. We cannot allow fear and worry to control our lives. You have to make a decision intentionally. Listen to this. It's an intentional decision to no longer allow fear to have power in your life. See, I see a lot of people, they're waiting until things change in their life, pieces move around, and then they'll feel secure enough to be courageous. Never happens that way. It will never happen that way. And yet many of you are convinced that that's how life works. That's called the Disneyland fairy tale that many people buy into. That there's going to be this happily ever after moment where everything's going to finally be perfect and then I can be courageous. No. It takes being courageous and doing it scared in the face of what you fear while you're terrified. And saying, fear, you got no power over me. You have no ability to stop me. And then you go after what you're called to do. You go after building your business. You realize, oh, if my products don't sell, just means the marketing was off, just means the messaging was off. We'll figure it out. Failure is a good thing, by the way. Embracing failure as a good thing in your life. Realizing it's okay if I mess up because I'm going to learn along the process. See, some of you have this thing in your head that you're so focused on doing everything right and have this pride thing of I always do everything right and never do wrong, that you won't allow yourself to put yourself out there, fall flat on your face, and make a freaking mess out of it because of your pride. And you got to kill that thing. You got to kill that pride inside of you. You got to kill that worry and fear that says, I got to be perfect before I show up as myself. I can't be my authentic self because I'm worried of what other people think about me. It's time to be courageous, my friends. It's time to be courageous and not worry about how it's going to happen. Not worry about what's going to happen in the future. Not let your fear and worry of future, I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that, I'm scared of this happening, control your decisions. It's sucking your brain space. It literally is. It takes, you got your brain here, you have all this brain processing energy that God gave you, and then you're literally cutting off like half of it and giving it to fear as a sacrifice and saying, I'm terrified of the future. That's literally what it is. So you have to disempower that fear in your life. Your creativity will come back. Some of you haven't dreamt things in a while because you've let fear and worry control your life for so long. It's time to break up with your addiction to fear and worry and the adrenaline and the feeling of safety and security that you get by operating in managing all these worries and fears. I saw somebody say they're terrified of the future. They're terrified of what's going on with the metaverse. They're terrified of what's happening in the world around them right now with the president. Really? And how's that helping you? How's that benefiting you? Like, I get it. It feels real. The terror feels real. But you're choosing to sit in it like an addict. You're choosing to sit in the terror and fear because it feels good. It feeds something inside of you like a drunk. That's what it does. It makes you drunk off of the fear. That's why it's called fear porn. For you to be effective, for you to be courageous, to build your business, you have to break up with that crap and cut it out and start stepping into what God's called you to do and start building your businesses with courage. Start doing what He's called you to do. Stop letting your fear and worry be your decision maker. You literally took your brain out and let fear and worry make all your decisions for you. That's what I see most people's normal MO is. And you have to rewire that brain. You can do it. You can rewire it. I used to be this way. This is why I'm saying this. You got to rewire it. You have to literally rewire all of that thing that is saying, I'm scared, so that you don't let fear and worry be your first thought every time you look at everything. So that you're not terrified of people coming after you and attacking you and things messing up and things constantly going wrong and expecting the next shoe to fall constantly. I get it that might have been your experience. And many of you, to rise strong, I read this book called Rising Strong. Some people don't like some of her message right now, but Brene Brown, when she wrote this book, it was incredible. Rising Strong. The reason why we don't rise strong and we let fear and terror of our past experiences control our lives is because we're grieving what we thought would be our reality. We're grieving a death of a possibility that we thought was going to happen. We thought something was going to happen, it didn't work out, and now there's grief that we have to process through. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you lost a family member. Maybe you're caretaking. Maybe you're doing whatever it is, whatever your life is that you're doing. And you're grieving the reality that you thought your life would be. That's where most people are. And that's why they sit in the fear and the worry. Because it's a comfort zone. It's comfortable. It feels like it's supporting them. It feels supportive to keep you safe. That as long as I'm terrified and fearful, I'll never get hurt. That's what we tell ourselves. As long as I'm scared and I never come near what I'm scared of, I'll never get hurt. And then we live our lives operating in that mode instead of stepping up into what we're called to do, rising strong, rising up, processing through that grief, processing through past trauma, processing through instances and moments in our past and our childhood that messed us up. You know, something that really helped me, I did 6 months of therapy. Every week. 1 therapy session a week. And helped me realize, I had a lot of terror and fear around what other people thought about me. Felt like everyone was trying to use me all the time. And now, I don't worry about it. Because I know that in every interaction that I'm in, I'm the one that has the boundaries and can make the decisions for myself. I'm not obligated to do anything for anybody just because they believe that I should because I can. That reality doesn't exist in my life anymore. To where I feel like I can't say no to people because I gotta be nice and to be safe. I gotta please everybody to be safe. You gotta kill that people-pleasing thing, and you gotta break up with the fear and worry of what's gonna happen and what could possibly happen in the future, and step into walking courageously and boldly in the direction that you were born to go. For many of you, that's building a business. For many of you, that's just making a hard decision this week. What's that hard decision this week that you've been putting off for 6 months? Because you've been worried about how it's going to possibly go, or maybe you're worried about doing it wrong. And I don't want to hear you say, well, I just want to be a good steward of my time, so I don't want to waste time by doing it wrong. You've been wasting 6 months. Many people. Wasting years. I see a lot of people waste years in an effort to not waste time. It's hilarious. Well, I have little time, so I got to do it perfect. And then they waste 10, 15 years of their life waiting until that moment of perfect comes. It's like, y'all see that doesn't work. So you have to do something different. Stop letting the fear and worry of not enough time control your life. Stop letting the fear and worry of, well, I got to do this perfect, control your life. Step up and be courageous. Don't let the fear of what's going on outside of you dictate your life. And step into what you were born to do today. This week, my friends. All right? Listen, if this has encouraged you, let me know. Share it with somebody as well. I think it'll really encourage some other people as well. Have a good one.